Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. Today is December 10th, 2018. The time is now 7 p.m. I do call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum of the trustees present. I will lead us in the pledges, and Mr. Richter will lead us in the invocation. If everyone please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Let's pray. Eternal God, Heavenly Father, we come again to thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. I pray that your blessings upon us now as we prepare to celebrate the birthday of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. May we be mindful that Jesus is the reason for the season. I pray that we all have a Merry Christmas. Then, oh God, I just want to thank you for this board, the superintendent. Thank you as we come down to the last meeting of this year. We pray that you'll continue blessings upon us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Richter. Agenda item number 2 is recognition of the Panthers and Employees of the Month. Ms. Cook.
Yes, sir. Panther of the Month for Falk Elementary, Falk Early Childhood, I should say, has selected Colby Mills as their November Panther of the Month. Colby is a son of Linda Bryce, and Clark Mills. Colby is a first grade student at Falk Early Childhood. He has one brother named Ricky. In his spare time, Colby enjoys playing with race cars. He also likes to play with his dogs, Baby and Birdie, and his 5 cats, Gary, Stuart, Ninja, TV, and Chloe. Colby's favorite color is blue, and he likes school because he gets to learn and he loves to do math. When he gets older, he wants to be a fisherman. Colby was selected as Panther of the Month because he's a dedicated student. He follows the school rules, and he tries his best when doing his work. He is a great teacher's helper and a wonderful friend to all his classmates. Falk Early Childhood is proud to have Colby Mills as their Panther of the Month. Congratulations. Keeber Elementary has selected Olivia Bell as their November Panther of the Month. Olivia is a second grader at Keeber Elementary and is the daughter of James and Janice Bell. In her spare time, she enjoys playing outside with her friends. Her favorite subject in school is art. She says they do such cool stuff, and when she grows up, she would like to be a cheerleader. Olivia was selected as Panther of the Month because she is a hard worker. She's always willing to help others in class, including her teachers, and is always a very sweet young lady. Keeberger Elementary is proud to have Olivia Bell as their Panther of the Month. Congratulations. Charlie Marshall Elementary School has selected Miley Herrera as their November Panther of the Month. Miley is a 4th grader at Charlie Marshall Elementary. She is a daughter of Richard and Letitia Herrera. Miley has 2 brothers, Richard and Taylor, and 1 sister named Latrice. Her favorite color is purple, and she likes to spend time with her family. Her favorite subject in school is science. She likes school because she can learn and be with her friends. She wants to attend college to become a marine biologist so she can work with the dolphins. She was selected as Panther of the Month because she's always respectful and always puts others first. We are very proud of her hard work and dedication. Please join us in congratulating Miley Herrera. She is one of the many bright stars we have at Charlie Marshall Elementary School. Okay, I hope I said this name right. AC Blunt Middle School has selected Rosalind Wimkin as their November Panther of the Month. She is a 6th grader at AC Blunt Middle School. He is the son of Allison and David. He is the youngest of 5 boys. He has 4 dogs, but his favorite dog is Piggy, his pet bull. His favorite class is pre-athletics because it's making him a better athlete and a better student. His favorite things to do when he is not at school are hanging out with friends and playing video games. When he finishes school, he wants to go into the military. He was selected as Panther of the Month because he is a hard and enthusiastic worker. He was nominated by his teachers because he always follows the rules, he makes good choices, and he's a good example for his fellow students. We're proud to have Raslyn Winkin as our Panther of the Month. Congratulations. Okay, last but not least, Aransas Pass High School has selected Thomas Ledesma for the November Panther of the Month. He is a senior at Aransas Pass High School. He loves to be involved at school. He's been this class president for 4 years, and he's also the editor-in-chief of this year's school yearbook. Thomas said that he currently loves to create yearbook spreads, photographs, sick tennis matches, and friendships, and one day he hopes to create buildings. He plans to pursue a master's degree in architecture at UTSA. He applied last week, and he's hoping to hear good news soon. He said, "Please keep your fingers crossed for me, and if this college doesn't work out, I wouldn't mind if a few of you wrote me a recommendation letter." Thomas was selected Panther of the Month at Aransas Pass High School because of the hard work and dedication he does exhibit. Aransas Pass High School is proud to have such a great student. Congratulations. Fall Early Childhood has selected Darlene Padron as their November Employee of the Month. Oh,
You want to keep on as a group?
I got carried away.
That's okay. Just real quick, we want to congratulate you guys. You know, you guys are doing an awesome job. Your teachers and your principals thank a lot of you guys, and I'm sure it's because of the job your parents are doing. So if the parents are here, will they stand up for us so we can recognize you guys? Thank you. Keep working hard. And then, thank you.
Fall Early Childhood has selected Darlene Padron as their November Employee of the Month. She is a pre-kindergarten teacher. This is her second year with APISD, with her 11th year in education, including 4 years in Head Start. She is married to her husband, Jason, and has one son named Christopher. They have several pets, Roscoe the dog, Jumper the cat, and Nemo the fish. In her spare time, Darlene enjoys spending time with her family and baking. She enjoys her job as a pre-K teacher. No 2 days are the same, even though the schedule and routines are set. The kids make her happy with the funny things they say and how they learn. The transformation throughout the school year is amazing. Mrs. Padron is a team player. She walks around with a smile for all and has great patience. Fall Early Childhood is proud to have Darlene Padron as their Employee of the Month. Congratulations. Our Keeper of the Month teacher is not able to be with her because of family emergency, but it is Kathleen Deagle. Okay. Ashley Alanese has been selected as the Charlie Marshall Elementary School Employee of the Month for November. Ashley is a team player that is always willing to do what is best for the kids. She comes to work with a friendly smile and strives to share her good mood with all of her students and staff. Every time APISD is celebrating a special dress-up event, Mrs. Alanese can be found dressed up from head to toe, showing her Panther pride. Ashley's school spirit and sense of humor are always appreciated. Her talents as an artist often called upon to help beautify our school or lend a hand for special projects. In the classroom, Mrs. Alanese can be found working with students to ensure they are learning. She never hesitates to jump in and participate alongside her students in PE, during recess, even if her basketball skills aren't quite up to NBA standards. But Mrs. Alanese is the proud mother of Asher Alanese and loving wife of Adrian Alanese. In her spare time, she can be found reading murder mystery books or creating random art projects. She prefers to spend as much time as possible on the water or in the water. Charlie Marshall Elementary is proud to Ashley Alanese as part of their team. Congratulations, Ashley. Vicki Ryan was selected by her fellow teachers as Employer of the Month at AC Blunt Middle School because of the hard work and dedication she exhibits for our students. This is her biography. Vicki Ryan worked as a licensed Group 1 agent and later as an accountant representative for an insurance brokerage in Houston, Texas for many years. She's been married almost 37 years to her husband, Jim, and they have a 29-year-old son, Todd. It was when Todd was 3 that Vicki left the corporate world in Houston, and she and her family relocated to Alaska, Texas. When her son started kindergarten, she volunteered to do anything and everything for the elementary he attended, mostly tutoring. After a few years of volunteering and working as a substitute, she was offered a position as a paraprofessional to work in content mastery at the Alaskan Junior-Senior High School for the next 4 years. Her last 9 years with OICD were spent managing 2 computer labs back at the elementary and in intermediate campuses, facilitating digital learning with online programs such as Compass Learning, Think Through Math, Learning.com, iStation, etc. Getting their son through college and falling in love with the coastal area, she and her husband relocated to Aransas Pass in 2016. Vicki started work in the computer lab at AC Blunt that fall. She loves working with students, helping them to learn, and she loves working with everyone at AC Blunt Middle School. We are proud to have such a great employee like Vicki Ryan at AC Blunt Middle School. Last but not least, Ilya McNeil was selected by her fellow teachers as Employee of the Month at APHS because of the hard work and dedication she exhibits for our students. No, there's not another one.
Who was this?
It's Jennifer, I started to say, but I don't see, I see Jennifer here, I don't
gave
see.
them one.
Come on up, Jim.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't have yours. You want to tell them?
Put you on the spot.
Sorry,
Not a big
Jennifer.
time. I was a taxidermist for 15 years before I decided I needed a break. My body needed a break, and so Mr. Bennett gave me a chance, and it paid off. I enjoy working at the school. I enjoy working with the kids. We did just manage to get 20 of our special education students food handlers permits. So they all passed and did really well, 4 of them being our life skills kids. So I enjoy what I do. Thank y'all.
Congratulations, Jennifer.
You were good on the spot.
Before you guys sit down, I want to share a story about Ashley. Ashley, and Dave and I both go to softball, so we got to see her be a little girl and a young lady, and a mother, and in a small school district. You know, that's something that we offer big school districts. You get into the big cities, you lose that personal touch. We may not have all those great buildings or all the extras that they have, but we've got that personal touch here. And we get to see you come back and get involved in the school. I want to say thank you. How are you? Thank you.
You were doing that, you're kicking that softball.
Ashley, I didn't tell all the stories I know about you. They're all good. They're all good.
They are, she's a good girl.
At this time, to our parents, just let our parents know we're going to continue with our meeting. You're more than welcome to stay with us for the meeting, or if you have other engagements or dinner to cook or homework to do, you're more than welcome to leave at this time. I'm going to take a brief pause and we'll continue. Thank y'all for coming. Agenda item number 3 is the Student Advisory Council update. Ms. Cook.
Yes, we had our monthly meeting with the Student Advisory Council. The topic was community and parent involvement, and you'll see in your packet that we had many great ideas that were shared. I always enjoy sitting in on these meetings, and John and Patricia both were at the meeting, so I don't know if there's anything they'd like to share out that stood out to them during this meeting.
They're a great group of kids, and they have a lot of good ideas, and a lot of them are coming to tuition. I can't even talk tonight, sorry.
Again, like I said, that that's probably, we do get some good input from the kids, and we try to take what they say, and we continue to tell them if we can't do something, why we can't do it, so that, and we try to work on what they have, whatever problems they see, and it's probably one of the best programs that I've seen around here to try to get more involvement from the kids and get their aspect or their perspective of what we need to do to help them out, because we're all here for them, so.
Awesome. Agenda item number 4 are public comments. Everybody that signed up.
Oh, well, Isabel was signed up there. Did you want to?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I sign wrong?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I signed you. I do have to. See, we're so.
Agenda number 5, item number 5 is the consent agenda. We had several meetings during the month of November, November 12th, November 14th, November 15th, November 19th, and December 3rd. You've had a chance to review the minutes.
There's no change in the motion we approved.
Okay, there's one correction on page 13. I was absent for that meeting, and then under public comments, it has me opening the meeting, if we can make that correction. That's the only correction I saw, so we'll correct the minutes from November 12th. Do you see that, Blaze? Yes, ma'am. I have a motion for Mr. Rector to approve the minutes with the correction. Are there any?
Second.
A second by Mr. Mullinax. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. I'm still killing trees, bear with me. Agenda item number 6 are the superintendent reports. Including the report is a public relations report from Ms. Cook and then a calendar. Ms. Cook, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, in your packet, we again have provided some information concerning our Facebook PR push that we've been doing. I really appreciate the representatives from each campus that have been meeting the challenge and far exceeding it of putting out at least 2 academic posts a week of what's going on the campuses. We're having quite a response. You see some of the areas, if you look at the numbers, it may look like we may not have had as many likes this month as before, but I think last month when we started it, it was so new to so many. We've got quite a few that have become a part of our pages now. So I feel like we're reaching a larger number of our community and surrounding areas with all the great things going on here. So this is the first phase of our PR push. When we come back from after the holidays, we'll be adding some others. Items. I know one of the things from the Student Advisory Council, they've told us we need to get on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm going to have to learn all these things if we're going to get on those things. We really appreciate their input, so because that was part of how to reach out to our parents and our community to ensure that they know what's going on and they can be involved. So we're going to continue that. The other report was we are trying to provide for you a calendar of events. This does not have every possible thing on it, but it has a lot of our athletic events. Things I want to bring to your attention that are coming up that we hope you as board members can attend. Of course, this Thursday we have our holiday open house. I'm personally looking forward to participating in that. The decorations have been very nice. I thought we've seen the leave this kind of stuff up all year long. It's very festive. Then you received an invitation from Mr. Sager tonight for the 18th, which is the Charlie Marshall Whoville Extravaganza. So you have to dress up though, you cannot enter. So I'm looking forward to seeing you show up with, you know, a Christmas sweater or something. So I hope you'll come. The teachers have been working very, very hard, and they have transformed that area. And it's very exciting. And then we have, the high school has a choir concert on the 20th. So those are some things that are coming up that will probably get you in the holiday spirit. So just to point out, of course, we have lots of games going on and other activities.
Okay, thank you for the update.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I did put one other thing in your packet. It's the early dismissal for December 21st. I did put in there the times that the campuses the students will be in session, and then when the staff will be arriving and dismissing.
Agenda item number 7 are the monthly reports. Included in your board package are the accounts payable, budget status and investment report, tax collection report, and the enrollment report. Would you like to speak to any of those reports, Ms. Cook?
We're here to answer any questions.
Or you have any questions? Just for public information, to our previous meetings, we did adopt a budget. On our budget status report, the total revenue was $14,059,284, and our projected expenditures was $15,999,365. As we previously discussed, that was an effect of Hurricane Harvey in our enrollment and the evaluation of our properties. Administration has worked hard to offset that. There's several things that we've done as far as applying for grants, looking for possible loans from the state and from the federal government, and later on in our meeting you're going to see where we're going to approve an application for one of those loans. We're trying to be as prudent as we can running the school district, and of course it's a team effort. It takes all of us. We adopt a policy and adopt a budget, and then as campus principals and administrators, you guys are the stewards along with us for the taxpayers. So we appreciate everything you do at the campus level. And please rest assured that we're working tirelessly to make sure that we're as solid as we can be for everybody. Does anybody have any questions on any of those reports? Mr. Director? No. Agenda number 8 is an update on district construction projects.
Yes, I'm going to let Mr. Todd begin. Sorry.
Welcome back, Todd.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to present to superintendent and school board. I've got 2 reports. Hopefully you'll have both reports, maybe, or one report. The December 4th report. That's the last one we had that was presented. That's the one on the elementary school. We're trying to get those synchronized back on schedule. We've had Marshall and Kruger and going every other week, so we're trying to get those back on schedule, which we are going to. If you're looking at the project, we've got a meeting next week on this, but the first elevated picture is the front entry elevation. You can partially, that existing school was demolished, so that opened up that front area there. So you'll have a copy of this one?
Well, I sent it out in the weekly update, but we failed to put it in your board packet,
Oh,
so.
okay, I'm
hopefully
sorry.
they
We
see it,
received
but
electronic.
Oh, okay,
That's fine.
okay.
Put it
We
first.
apologize,
Okay.
that was our mistake on this.
I'll run, and I know we have, we're gonna look at the floor plan too? Or?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So we are, pretty much the building is dried in, except second floor, some of the windows aren't in, but all the roof is installed. 70–80% of the windows are installed. They're working on the gym, actually, the existing gym. That roof got replaced, so that's all installed and dried in. They are putting up drywall and texture on the first floor. They're painting they're training the block on in the corridors, just the primer at this point. So they're able to work inside the building. They've got the air conditioning all in, units on the roof, getting all the ductwork tied in. There's no permanent power yet to the building, but it is dry inside the facility. So I think that's about it, unless you have any questions. That's where we are on the elementary school.
No, it's been several weeks since I walked the facility. I'd make sure and encourage the trustees, if you have time, to schedule some time with Todd, or I believe who's the...
Matt De La Garza is superintendent on site,
Okay.
so yes.
You can schedule something with Charlie or Ms. Cook's office, and take an opportunity to walk through there and put your eyes on everything. It's really going to be a quite nice facility once we finish. What else do you have time?
We can go over the gym complex if you like. I can run through that really quickly. That building is also, the roof is all complete on that facility. The walls have been damp-proof. All the exterior and interior block has been installed. They're installing all the metal doors on the exterior. They'll be starting to get the storefront measured and installed for the perimeter. The translucent panels on the north side, they're going to be installed. They're coming in on about the 21st, so they'll be working right after Christmas through the new year, installing those translucent panels. So the air conditioning units are all on the roof, so as soon as that gets dried in, they'll start block filling inside. And that building is all pretty much dried up inside as well. I think that's about it for that project. But everything's getting back on schedule since the rain has kind of tapered off a little bit, so it's helped them a lot.
Did we process the change order on the scoreboard that ATV purchased, or is that still?
Well, all the change orders have been approved. I think they've been ordered. We just got to get the paperwork processed.
So that one did go through?
That one did go through. Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yes.
And did you want to speak to the difference in asphalt credit and concrete, or?
I can do that, yes. We were asked to look at the bus drive, and it's currently in concrete right now, heavy-duty concrete. The other driveways and parking areas are in asphalt. And so that process, asphalt's not as good as concrete, obviously. But that process takes a little bit longer to do asphalt, and you've got to pretty much do it all at once. So we were trying to look at opportunities to utilize part of the front of the school for staging, and probably the best way to do that would be to do that in concrete. So we asked Kruger Construction to give us what would the cost upgrade be to do that, and we got a credit back of I think $44,000, and the concrete was $100,000. So the balance would be $64,000, so around $64,000 to do the new drive on I guess it would be on the west side of the campus, and basically all the parking area and student drop off on the south side, to turn that into concrete. So so that would leave the balance of our change order or betterment fund for the project for $135,000. So we still have quite a bit of money left in the contract.
Would the completion of the asphalt, if we went with asphalt, that would be done in phases?
Well, no, they
Maybe
want to
done
try
all
to
at
do it all
once.
at once, because once they mobilize, they want to get it all done at the same time. You don't really want patches in it, so, or anywhere to stop, so they've got to pretty much do, at least, they've got to do one parking area and finish it. If they have to come back later, it's going to be more money, so they're going to wait till the very end of the project to do that.
And what about maintenance and upkeep on asphalt versus concrete?
Well, I mean, you're gonna be probably having to do a little work after 5 or 6 years. You're gonna have to probably start maintaining the asphalt as it deteriorates. The concrete, you're not gonna have to do that. So, I mean, it's just, this concrete is more durable.
So there's approximately $200,000 in our contingency account or betterment account,
Yes.
or 199, I'm sorry, my math is ambitious here. I'm sorry? Yeah. So we had that conversation, I guess, the last meeting that I was here, and what are you asking, Ms. Cook, or what are you recommending?
Well, after we talked about it, and we just wanted to bring it to you as a possibility, because we're trying to begin to look at the move-in plan, and looking at the asphalt, it was going to cause some issues because it needs to be poured all at once. How to do that, if we're going to have to, tear down all the older canvas. And so when they brought this option, I said, well, we need to take this to you as board members to determine if this is something you'd like us to pursue. There is a cost up front, but it seems that in 5 years, we could see that it become very cost effective. It also helps us with the move-in, and aesthetically, it looks really nice. You'll have a complete, you'll have nice concrete all around instead of asphalt. So we're just bringing it to you for your consideration. It's not an action item, but we would bring back to you that and change order that, or actually, we can just move forward with it unless if we have a requirement for a certain amount, we bring in change orders. But we just wanted to hear your thoughts on pursuing this.
So in the overall plan of the whole construction, is there a line item for landscaping once the building is complete?
Yes. Well, yes, we do. That's included in the contract, yes, sir. And it is.
I know I didn't ask this information before, but what is all included in that?
All the irrigation, sprinkling, and landscaping throughout the entire site. So there's a landscape architect involved. He designed basically a plan. And then what we did is we got with the school and looked at what we really wanted to maintain. So we kind of scaled back a little bit, and made sure it was not going to die the first year. So we try to pick indigenous plants and stuff that take very little attention, and just to basically meet the landscape requirements of the city. And I just might add a little bit on the driveways. One of the reasons we looked at concrete as well, because the site is so flat that water, there's not a lot of drainage off those sites. So we're going to, water stands on that asphalt. That's what we're concerned about as well. So just another piece of information.
You said the landscaping company had I guess they've given you guys a visual. Does he have a rendition of that, of what he's doing? Well, here's my concern, just cut to the chase. In some of our construction projects that we've done in the past, we've probably been a little frugal in really dressing up around the buildings. In the overall scheme of things, as far as instruction in the classroom, it's not a big thing. But when we start looking at our facilities and we start talking about growth in the area and attracting families, the first thing they're going to do is start looking at our facilities and what do we have to offer versus Eagleside, Rockford, or whoever. So I just want to make sure we're not shortchanging ourselves here and that we have enough funds there to dress it up a little bit to give that aesthetic look to it.
Yeah, I think this project for RentSpace has the most amount of landscaping that we've ever done on a project. And partly because of the city requirements, because there's a lot of parking area and we have to comply with that. You're welcome to, I can send all the plant lists out. They've got photographs of it and we can look at it anytime on site. or?
If you can just share that with Ms.
Yeah.
Cook, and then she
I
can
can
just
send
send
that
it
to
to
her.
us.
Well, I know we've requested a rendition of elementary school, so when he's creating that,
Sure.
is there a way to, I know you can't put every little plant in there, but maybe just so we'll have a visual
Yes.
of, you know, what we're looking at, what
Okay,
we're allowed.
can do that.
I think that would help. I think that's what you're asking
That's
for,
right.
more of a
Sure, we can do that.
Does the board have any questions for Tom? Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming. We appreciate your hard work.
Well, I did have one for Todd, or Ms. Cook, that, you know, the virtual tour we took at the gym that we had one of the meetings,
Yes.
and I think I spoke to you about it, and you were gonna get with Todd to see if we could put that on our website, so that our families can take a look at it, because I thought it was pretty impressive to think that virtual tours, it looked very, you know, kind of gets me excited, so.
Yeah, we just need to work with you on the link and how to make sure that anyone can access it.
Okay.
I think that's the main issue before we, yeah. Yeah, so maybe we get with you and how to,
I'll bring a thumb drive tomorrow.
okay, so it can be accessible. That was the main thing, so the link wasn't going
Yeah.
to work for everyone,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
So I want, you know, and I don't know how soon, you know, we have to do it tonight, no, that's concrete versus asphalt, but, you know, probably by our January board meeting, that's definite. Would you say, Charlie, or?
Yes, they're, Kurt really needs to get an answer pretty.
Can you come up to the podium, please?
I'm sorry. Yes, Kruger, after giving us these options, that they were really stressing that we need to get an answer pretty quick so they can get the ball rolling on that because of the timing. So they got to start planning to do the change because of our plans for our move-in of that area. So they got, that was a big issue, a big concern. So we got to make a decision pretty quick.
Should we approve tonight?
No, it's not on the agenda as an action item. I believe what Ms. Cook was trying to do was have a conversation on how the board felt about if we did a change order. You know, is the board open to going to concrete versus asphalt? I mean, as we look down Victory Lane here, I mean, for example, that's asphalt.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see what happens over corrosion and years of deterioration. So from a maintenance standpoint, you're gonna have to turn around and reinvest. I mean, in my opinion, with taxpayers' dollars, we need to be as prudent as we can. For $60,000 and looking at the lifespan of it, I mean, I don't foresee a problem with doing that. I think it needs to be done. It's gonna save us money in the long run.
I agree.
We will start moving that direction, so that we can get that changed. While you're there, do you mind giving them an update on the replacement of the old gym floor?
yes, ma'am. That project actually started this weekend with the demolition portion. Quality hardwood floors came in on Friday afternoon. Part of the because of the identifiable asbestos that was in the mastic, we had to have them trained in a asbestos awareness class. We had a specialist come in, contractor. He trained them, certified them. He stayed for about 4 hours while they did the first portion of demolition to see how it was going to go, and he gave us his blessing. He said, it looks like it's good. Basically, we're just checking the blade widths on the saw so it's not cutting into that mastic on the floor, and it worked perfect. They brought in an army of workers in, about 10 or 12 guys, and they pretty much knocked it out this weekend, the demolition. The only portion of the floor that's not up is what's under the stands right now. That's the way the project is planned. They're going to leave it like that and start putting down. They got to bring in the product and put the water barrier, the new water barrier down on the subfloor. Bring the product in so it acclimates to the humidity, and then let's go from there. So now, as far as the timing on that, I'll have to get with Mr. Bennett. We're doing weekends right now. We decided to do weekends because of the demo and the chance that we might get some stuff in the air, but it really didn't. So I was very pleased at how they very professional. They went in and did their thing and got out. And, at this point, I'm meeting with their project manager tomorrow morning to determine if we have to do. It's pretty dry underneath, It dried out really good. And we might not have to do the dehumidifying in there with the big commercial humidifier. We're going to determine that tomorrow. We're bringing in meters and all kinds of stuff, so I will update you all with that. And that would save some time and some cost as well.
Who's bringing the meters in?
He is,
He being?
the contractor. Yes, Quality Hot Workforce, yes, yes. So, and then from there, we'll determine that, and then we'll get a game plan when we're gonna start installing. I'd like to see, we got a Christmas holiday coming up, where kids are gonna be out of there, and I discussed that with him today, and he says, yeah, we were kind of thinking that too, trying to get something, get it knocked out. We can't, what's gonna delay right now is the actual product getting it here, the maple that needs to come in. And they've got it ordered, and we're at the mercy of that coming to us right now. So that's what he informed me today. So.
Any questions on the gym floor?
The other tying into that, we're concerned about the waterproofing of that wall on the other side from the other contractor. Everything that is 100% complete, and it worked. We had pretty good heavy rain the other night, and we didn't have anything come in at all. So they've got everything dried in, and so I feel confident that we can move on without having to worry about water intrusion at all. Okay, and that the roofer on the high school, another subject, they're about 95% done with that roof at the high school. So they'll be out of here hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
Any questions?
Charlie, we thank you, because we're glad to start seeing some of these things moving along.
You and me both.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
I do have a couple other things in this area. We really have a lot of under the construction updates, because there's so much going on. And as part of that, as we look toward completing the new elementary school, there's a few things that we need to have your guidance on that affect a lot of our items on our side. One is going to be the naming of the school. That is not just as simple as needing to put the letters on the outside of the wall. It has to do with many things: our coding, putting the pins, because we have to read, the name has to go in. So there's a lot of the bookkeeping and budgetary things that are connected to the name that we need to do, we need to take care of. I don't know how much that's really been talked about. Our proposal we've spent quite a bit of time talking about it. I mean, our proposal would be keep it Falk. It's still, it's replaced, it's still the same location. Maybe call it Falk Primary School, since it's a primary campus. But that's something we really need to, I don't know if you're prepared to do that tonight, but I would say that by January, we really need to hear from you on what we're going to name the school. Because it's going to cause some issues for us.
I mean, just my own personal opinion, that those decisions on those campuses were made years ago in honor of the other employees that work for us. I feel the same way administration does. We're just replacing a building. I sat through, I know David has sat through a couple of processes to rename buildings for different people, and you're never going to make everybody happy. That decision's been made, that process was already made. I don't see us going back and subjecting ourselves to that grief. Plus, Mr. Fox has been honored, and we've got a new building. Keyburger is still up, nothing's happened to it. So, I mean, in reality, nothing's really changed. We have a new building. I don't know if the rest of you feel the same way or not.
Just an upgrade, we have to consider it.
So I think there's your direction.
Okay, wonderful. Well, the other piece then is we're beginning to look at the move-in plan. The projection currently is a possible certificate of occupancy, we hope in March, is what they're hoping for. Of course, there's still a lot to do, so that can change. But we need to be prepared. So I met with a small group today when we basically threw all the issues out on the table, what that's going to look like to try to do any type of move-in during the school year. Right now, we're looking at just the option of vacating the current Falk building. The reason for that being is that we need to get those students and teachers out of that building, get everything cleaned out, so then we can abate the building and tear it down. Because you can't continue with all the parking lot and finish out the landscaping until that's done. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm having to talk right through all these little legs here, nutcrackers. So we're beginning that process, and we'll be bringing to you a fully developed plan, but I want you to be aware that in this process of talking about what this is going to look like, we also have been looking at, the bond was passed with the idea that this building would be a pre-K through third grade building. And as time has gone on now, and we're looking at the different variables that are in front of us, you might say, we have a few things that we have to look at. With the new accountability system, there is a strong issue that occurs when you have a third grade that has to take the STAR test when they're on a campus that does not have any other STAR tested grades. So this year, we, under this accountability, we are in a comprehensive support due to our third grade students being on that standalone campus. Ms. Dominguez did the data, pulled the numbers. If the third graders had been on at Charlie Marshall and their scores put in fourth and fifth grade, they would not have, we would not be comprehensive support. So there is an issue there just in the logistical matter. Now, you would think that just doesn't seem fair, and we agree, and, you know, I voiced my concerns as well as other superintendents that are from school districts that have a third grade sitting alone. But it's there for now. I don't see any change. Mr. Mansfield looked up, found a number of campuses that are set up like us. K through 3, there are only 19 campuses that are like that across the state of Texas. That was the state of Texas, correct? Make sure I meant to ask you that earlier. 4th through 5th grade alone are 49. And the campuses that are 3rd through 5th grade, there are 89. So I know that there's other districts that if they have that option, they're moving their 3rd grade students to be with the 4th and 5th, whatever their setup may be, for that accountability purpose. You never like to make a decision based off of just the accountability, because that can change with this legislative session. Who knows what could come next? But when I met with the 3rd grade teachers last week, they also see a great need and a benefit to being with the 4th and 5th grade teachers that also have to face the STAR testing for collaboration and that alignment. So I was very surprised and very proud of them, because that's a big deal to be able to say, we care more about our kids, we care more about what's best for them, we can provide a better learning environment for them by having that collaboration. They were willing to put that at the forefront instead of saying, no, we really want to move in that new building, you know, because they've been looking forward to that. And Charlie Marshall, this campus is very nice, but it's not the new building. And so I was very proud of them that they saw that need. So that's another piece. Then the final piece when we look at considering this option is growth. You know, we have took a hit with Harvey, and that's kind of not a good way to say that, but we took a hit in many ways. But we're beginning to see the students come back. We really believe that over the next 2 years that we will be back to where we were, and possibly even larger, with the companies that are coming in from Cheniere to Exxon. All those workers need someplace to live. I think a lot of them are going to want to move this direction due to the traffic that I personally experience each day trying to get back over that direction. Families, I think, will like our communities on this side. with the development of Hogan Homes. 3 phases, I think it's up to 300 homes, and I think they're selling them as fast as they can. We hear that there's on the books is an apartment complex, a brand new one that's planning on building here in Aransas Pass, as well as the other apartment complexes that are renovating and opening back up. So with all that said, there is a great potential for growth for us. And we all know that when you open up a new campus, especially at a primary level, families look at that. They like to put their kiddos in that bright, shining new building. So with that said, we want to really look at that, even though the plan over a year and a half, 2 years ago when you passed the bond, originally was to look at pre-K through 3rd grade in this building. We have been looking at and studying, is that the best option for us as we look for that great potential for growth? And so I gave you, and it's very difficult to see these, but I gave you at your place a map of the new campus, and we have it up here. We, as part of the move-in today, we were looking at the current plan. If we move into this building, pre-K would have, we have 4 sections currently this year. We would have room in this building to add 2 more for a total of 6 classrooms. Kindergarten currently has 6 sections. Moving in, they would have room for 1 more. I hope I'm saying this right. Yes. Okay. Get me straight, Mr. We went through this several times, and I kept confusing myself. 1st grade has 6 sections. We would only, and there would be no room for another section for the 6th grade, unless we pulled one of the pre-K rooms, which is close, that was designated with the restroom in the classroom. We could pull that, giving pre-K only 1 more room for growth, so that was an option. 2nd grade, 6 sections currently, only 1 room for growth. 3rd grade, 6 sections, 1 room for growth. We are sitting at an average pre-K at 18 students a classroom, kindergarten 18, 1st grade 19, 2nd grade an average of 19, and 3rd grade 19. That's with our numbers lower. So you see, if we start growing, and these are our primary students, we, and I'm sure you feel the same way I do, you want to keep these classes smaller if possible, because the learning, research just shows that's a better learning environment. So to keep stacking these classes, and you see there's not a lot of stacking you can do. If you're already sitting, let's say at 3rd grade, you have 1 extra room, you're already at 19, the ratio by law is 22 to 1. So if we start having, students come in, we'll fill that extra room up very quickly, and then you would not have another room. And with this current potential growth, you only have, putting every 3rd grade in this building, you only have 1 extra room for something. If we brought music or art back in, we only have 1 extra room on the 2nd floor for that. The only resource room in the plan is upstairs. There's no resource for special education needs downstairs. And then there's just no extra space for any other type of activities. If we went to just putting pre-K through 2nd and we move 3rd grade here to Charlie Marshall, then you would have every grade level, pre-K through 2nd, would have at least 2 classes extra for growth. We would have 4 extra rooms on the 1st floor. This would be putting 1st grade and 2nd grade on the 2nd floor. We did talk to Todd, and he helped me look at the legalities of putting 1st grade. And we can do that as long as they have their own stairwell, that they're not being, other 2nd graders or larger kids running by them. And we have three stairwells, I believe that's correct. So there's no issue there. And we have to just make sure that we keep the square footage per the number of students in the classroom. So it'd be 21 students in a classroom. You would never want to have more than 21, because those sizes of those classrooms are a little bit smaller than those downstairs. It would also give us 4 extra rooms on the first floor where we could have another resource room. We could have an electives room. We could have a PE/health room for different rainy days where they want to go in and do health lessons. We could even have an intervention and/or science lab that we cannot currently have with, because basically moving in pre-K through 3rd and looking at what you need to save for growth, you wouldn't have those options. And my greatest fear would be to just not have this conversation and then a year or 2 later have to come back and say, now we've got to move to 3rd grade again. So in the 3rd graders, teachers were also of that mindset. If this is something that we foresee could happen, they would rather do it now rather than later. So those are just different reasons why it would be best for us to do this. Mr. Sagert has been working diligently with his floor space, his map, and looking at the rooms. I haven't seen the final draft yet, but looking at that option, would we be able to fit the 3rd grade over here, and what would that do to the administration building that we're here on the back side? And it looks as if it's going to be quite feasible to be able to do it without us having to move out. Now, whether we have to move our door that says stop down a couple of rooms could be a possibility, and we'd all have to work together to get snug and close, but we would do that here in the administration building for the sake of our students. But I think we could work it very nicely while we, and that wouldn't have to be the long term, because eventually we can look at, where you would wish the administration to be permanently. But, I think I think this team is great. We're all of the mindset, we'll do what we have to do to make sure the students get what they need. So that's a lot of information that we've been thinking about for weeks, and I'm just kind of throwing it out to you. So do you have any questions, concerns right now on this idea?
Who wants to go first?
Oh, goodness, that many concerns, huh?
No, I mean, the bottom line for me is, and you and I visited on this previously, is the transparency part. I mean, everything in your plan and what you talk for the educational needs of our student, I mean, it's just rational and makes sense. But the other aspect of it is we as a board went out to a community and pitched and sold new elementary school with certain grades. So a big part for me is just the transparency and making sure that we reach out to the community. What's that strategy going to look like?
Well, my suggestion would be to have like a town hall meeting, or we could have a public hearing, however you wish to format it, in which we would come and we would bring this information. Of course, we would try to make sure we have better pictures and really show the whole scheme of things, you might say, on why this would be best for our students. And then allow them a voice in this. I think it's the communication. To get them here, let them ask the questions, talk it through, and have as many of those as we need to. Careful if you're quicker than not. I'm thinking in January, really push this out, get the feedback, help them see it, push it out through any different ways we could. I mean, we could do a video of the town hall meeting, put it on our website. I mean, there's just various things we can do to get the word out about what we're doing, use our local paper and so forth. So there's many things that we can do to help our those that pass this bond to see that this is projecting, moving forward, and staying up with what we think is coming. And the little bit I've been in this community, I think they'll respect that if we communicate it well and we answer their questions. But I do agree that would be something we put out there. We get that feedback, and then help us determine how to proceed. Because right now, this is simply an idea that we're bringing to you, knowing that it needs to go through that process decision. But in order to continue with our move-in plan and knowing what this is going to look like, we need to do that soon.
Well,
And one of the other facts to remember is that when we moved here, we were in a position at a time when our school, our central office was falling apart around us. We had leaks everywhere. When we looked at the refurbishing, it just wasn't feasible for us to do what we were doing. We had a wing that was sitting here empty, and it just made sense. But we, trustees at the time, knew that would come at a point where we had growth, that we would eventually be able to vacate. That's why the walls that are put up in the offices are temporary walls that can come down and they can be retrofitted back to classrooms. So we knew that at some point we would be moving out of here. Again, my biggest concern is just making sure we're communicating with the parents and then listening to them at that point, like you're saying, to make sure that everybody understands we're just starting the process, we're not making a decision tonight.
And again, you brought up the safety issue for moving the first grade up on the first floor, or second floor, that we need to address that and make sure that we're aware of that and consider that, and there's a, that it will be safe for them. So we need to make sure that the parents know that the kids will be safe in that it will be falling and pushed down, all that kind of stuff, going up and down the halls, or down the stairwells.
They should be able to. We had kindergarten up in Mayon for years and years and years, and we never had one accident.
It's just teaching them, setting the expectations, and,
One of the other things as you progress is I'd like you guys to speak to the fact that how much space central office is going to have to vacate to make this happen. What impact we're going to have on the scheduling for lunches to make sure that our kids aren't having to eat lunch at 10:30 in the morning in order for us to finish. And then making sure that we have enough room and resources for our teachers with copy rooms and things that they need. I mean, and don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. It's great to say that we can move and we can do it, but we're cramped, and we're uncomfortable. So we need to make sure and address all those issues, and the board hears those plans in detail of what we're planning and how we're going to get there. But at this point, I don't hear any objections from anybody with you moving forward with that. And then if you can just communicate back with us what those strategies are going to be to reach out to the community and who you're going to be meeting with, and invite us to go with you. John's available, David's available, and take your administration team with you, because they're the ones who are going to be on the front lines as the parents come into the office and ask all those questions. So if it's something that's going to work, we all have to be on the same message and have all the same information that we're giving out to our parents. Do you have anything else?
the only other item, I'm sorry, this was lengthy tonight, was as we vacate Key Burger, and like I said, we're looking at the initial phase of just doing fall, potentially March or so, and then we'll come back with a whole plan on what that would look like. And in the summer, we would vacate Key Burger and move the other students to whichever location they're going. So then just I want to put it on your radar to begin thinking about, because I'm already getting questions, since I'm sure you are, what are we doing with Key Burger? What's that going to look like? I did want to share with you, so you didn't hear it through the grapevine, since I kind of jumped out there, had some opportunities through some various conversations looking at the possibility of some career tech education access that might be potentially something we could do with a portion of Key Burger. I know we've got some DAP needs and of course our office space, so there's lots to consider here. But I just wanted you to know that I know that's a big thing that Mr. Bennett and I have been talking about, is how do we give our students more access to career and tech opportunities for that technical side or that dual credit side. And so there are some options at the Texas Education Agency level with grant funding, partnerships with our area districts. I met with San Patricio County Economic Development Corporation today. Chenier representative was there, along with the Economic Development Board. And they were very interested in the idea of potentially housing a career tech education center here in Aransas Pass as part of that Aransas Pass ISD. we've opened the door, I stepped off into it, and I thought I need to run back and mention it to the board since I went running headlong with that. I know that was something you shared with me the first time I think we met, your interest in providing for our students career tech options, where they don't have to be bussed all over the place. And I think for all the area school districts that are small like us, that are, we already have a small co-op that we're doing between Ingleside and Aransas County, and making it work the best we can, but it does limit us. So how can we open it up so more of our students have access and we truly prepare them for great opportunities for very high-paying jobs right here in this area, and so that they can stay and grow and build their homes and stay in Aransas Pass. So there will be a lot more to come on that. There's just all that's happened so far is just doors open, talking. But I just wanted to mention that to you, just to put on your radar to be thinking, because I'm sure you've had a lot more time to think about in your mind what you'd like to see and what you envision. So just wanted it on your radar and let you know that more to come. So if you hear that I've been out there talking, yes, I have. I've been, because if they're going to bring anything to this area, I would love for it to be here for our community. So we'll see what happens with that.
It's great news. Thank you. Anything else? Are you good?
No, that was it on that. I'm done.
Agenda item number 9 is to consider and approve the Los Gallegos retainer, which is our school attorneys. Ms. Cook.
Well, I think you have all the information in there that you do get this, I guess this is yearly you do this, correct? Yearly.
Yes, ma'am.
You had all the information, so I just bring it to you for your consideration and approval.
Board, any questions?
Pretty simple.
Do I have a motion to approve the retainer program? I have a motion by Mr. Rector to approve the retainer program with Los Gallegos as presented by administration. Have a second. Second by Ms. Branch. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10 is to consider and approve the FEMA Community Disaster Loan. Ms. Cook.
Well, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Stansberry, but I want to say first, she has worked so hard on this. This was not an easy task. We talked about this back when I first arrived, options that we had to help us as we continue the recovery effort from Harvey. And this one has been something else. So I applaud her, and I just wanted to publicly thank her for the hard work. And I'm going to turn it over to her so she can tell you about this exciting opportunity.
I submitted all the paperwork that FEMA is asking us to have approved in the board book. We qualify, after all of the information that we submitted of the estimates of lost revenue, we qualified for $4,493,000 loan. This paperwork is just the second step in the loan process. It will be sent up to what they call a GAR committee, and they're going to rehash everything that's in this loan before it ever gets to FEMA. One thing that I was instructed, there is a promissory note, and again, we have to have this approved also in order for the GAR to be able to send it to FEMA. But one of the instructions are there's no interest or due date on the loan, and that would be inserted by FEMA at the time that they approve the loan. What I'm gathering is, yes, it's a loan, more so to try to help us with our cash flow. There is a representative that's visited with us twice. His name is David Dworsky, and he, I believe, is willing to consult with us to help us eventually to find a way to use this money where it's forgivable by FEMA. But they're not telling us up upfront, straight out, if you do this and this and this, you'll have to pay back. They're not going that avenue, so we're gonna have to kind of test the waters and play with it as we go. So this is kind of like a drawdown as we need the money. And if we don't need it, at least we have the opportunity to stay afloat. So I would like for us to continue in the process and see it all the way through. If we never get the money, then we won't have anything to pay back. But we have to ask.
So basically, you're passing a resolution tonight for us to move on to the next, is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Drop the
There's a
ball.
lot,
Yes, the
there's a lot to
resolution has
this.
to be passed.
That's a lot of information to take in.
Let's do it page by page. This is just more for public information, and we all know what happened here with Hurricane Harvey. But Ms. Cook was speaking to the fact of all the work that Ms. Stansberry had put in. I read through this afternoon. Basically what they asked, first two questions is what revenues likely would have been had the hurricane events between August 23rd, 2017 to September the 15th not occurred. What revenues may be for the fiscal year of the disaster 2018 and the three succeeding fiscal years. And then there's a damage overview that basically describes all the damage to the town and the school. The baseline revenue provision to establish a revenue baseline if the disaster had not occurred. We documented the actual revenues for 2015 through 18 and the fiscal year 2018 budget. Ms. Stansberry provided input on specific impacts on the entity's revenues. This is historical average increase to revenues for the 3-year period based on a positive historical average trend. A baseline was developed for 2019 through 2021. Revenues using the compound annual growth rate for each year. The applicant did not already have budgets in place for those years. And basically what they were trying to determine is what was our growth going to be during that time and what the subsequent damage caused. For the government fund and the enterprise fund in 2018, projected revenues were derived using actual revenue to date. For revenues from 19 to 21 are projected to decrease from the 2018 projections, mainly due to a decrease in the property tax revenue and the state federal funding. In the enterprise funds, revenues are expected to decrease mainly due to a reduction in the self-funded insurance revenues. Revenues are expected to recover over a 5 to 7 year period. Overall, when pre and post Harvey disaster revenue projections were compared, the district projects a $10,276,517 disaster-related loss for 19 to 21. So it's not so much the impact that we're seeing today, it's the impact that we're going to be seeing for the upcoming years. Sure, I want to thank you for your hard work on this. The promissory note is attached to the application. Local government resolution, collateral security. Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of Aransas Pass Independent School District that we pledge the following listed collateral security to the Federal Emergency Management Act on the promissory note for community disaster loan of $4,493,551 executed December 10th, 2018. Do I have a motion to approve the local government resolution as presented by administration?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Branch, I have a second by Mr. Monak. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There's even a direct deposit sign-up form, so hopefully the money will become quick. Just as a follow-up question, because we don't know about the repayment, those funds are gonna be deposited, and then we're gonna hold off and wait until we get the answers on what the provisions are.
We won't run out and have spending spree or anything. Be very, very cautious and
Okay.
get facts straight.
And we don't necessarily have to draw down the funds until we actually need them. Like, another transfer.
Just want to feel safe by just sitting there.
I'd love to put all of it in a checking account to interest on it, but I don't have that.
That may be why they're on the list, draw it down
Yeah.
to use it.
Okay, Ms. Isabel, been waiting patiently. Agenda item number 11, and Mr. Nieto, I want to leave you out. Consider and approve overnight trip request. Ms. Cook, would you like to speak to this?
Well, we're just excited about these opportunities for our students and for our sponsors that are willing to go the extra mile and take them to these great events. I'll let them speak to what's going to be happening.
All right, well, my kiddos are going to be going to Orlando, Florida. They leave December 29th, they return on Wednesday, January 2nd. The girls are going to be performing pre-game for the Citrus Bowl. I know they just said who was going to be playing, but that was just determined, I didn't get that. But they'll be performing from the 20-yard line to the other 20-yard line with a bunch of other girls across the nation. Our mascot's also going to be there. He'll be in the center along with all the other mascots. So they're learning a performance right now that we have to be prepared to perform that day. We will have rehearsals 2 of the days that we're there, and then the girls get to enjoy the Disney parks in the afternoon. We are going to be flying there, so over half the squad has not flown, and more than half the squad has never been to Disney World, so it's a great experience for them, much less even at a pro game like that or in a college game. So they're excited. We're excited.
Go to.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
An opportunity. And I think you have, 6 of the families are also going to be there off of.
Yes, at least 6 of the families are going to be there. So I know one of the families is taking 12, and the others are, 2, 4. So there's a lot of people that are going to be there to support AP. They all have their tickets. We're all in one area together that get to watch the girls perform, so it's pretty cool. The performance will not be televised. They said that when we get there, they may let us know of a link where we can stream it from home. Otherwise, they said that there's going to be a CD or a DVD that we can purchase, and then we can bring that home for those to watch. Penn State and Kentucky, that's who's playing.
She's married to Terry.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions?
Still, just big on.
One thing you didn't speak to was, and I want to recognize you and the parents, is the hard work. I'm looking at here in your request, and the total trip cost is $27,299.
Yes, sir.
It's not cheap. Fundraising and donations was $15,453.85. Parents, and I don't know how they did this, I guess just fundraising on their own, $9,577, and then the balance was the district portion, which was around $2,200. So, numbers are numbers, but the fact remains that things like this and dreams like this don't happen unless they've got a leader and somebody that's providing that for them and leading them along the way. You're another one that I got to see grow up and come back. And on behalf of the board, I want to say thank you for teaching those kids, because it's not only about going on that trip. They learn to have a dream and then work towards it. And that's what life's going to be: setting goals and working towards them. This is definitely a life lesson, and they get a reward for it. So, thank you for your hard work.
We've been working since April on it, so before we got our bid, we had to get an invitation to attend this event as well. It's not just pay and go. At our UCA camp over the summer, they earned a first place trophy, which gave us the invitation to attend. So we started fundraising in April with hopes that we would be able to get that trophy. And they earned it, and then I was like, all right, we've hit it hard now. So they the parents were awesome too. They were the ones that really led most of the fundraisers and stuff, and the community, they were great, so, thank you.
Awesome. Any questions?
Proud of you.
That's right. Mr. Nieto, you're up.
Evening. This is our annual trip up to Dekaney. I'm not sure if the superintendent's familiar with. In order to qualify for state, you've got to go take first or second place at one of the drill meets. Now, this is one of the drill meets that we normally attend with the hopes of qualifying for state. If not, then our last hope is at Ray back in February, early February timeframe. But the only problem is at Ray, there's only one slot, so you either win the whole thing or you don't go to state. So the kids are working hard trying to get us qualified at Dekaney, and we'll take our best shot. But it's happened in the past, so I'm confident we're going to go up there and take it. So that's where we're at.
Well, you have a long history of success, and you have a long history of impacting kids, because there's a lot of students that go on into the military, and it changes lives. I'm a little partial because my son's a recruiter now, so. But I think one thing that, or I know one thing that Brian took from here was having the best interest of the kids.
Yes.
You know, he's very honest with them and tells them it's not for everybody, you know, but it can change your life. And, you know, he was impacted by a lot of the administrators and teachers here in Aransas. So we do a lot of great things. You do a lot of great things, and thank you for your hard work. We appreciate it.
I had an opportunity to go to their inspection, was last week, I believe, this week. I was so impressed. Our students did fantastic. It was very inspiring to watch them, and I know you'll do well.
Thank you.
Yes, son, good luck from us. Anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the overnight trip request as presented by administration? I have a motion by Ms. Branch. I have a second. Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Go get 'em, Nieto.
Being the military person, he was, he had a real detailed package too, so I'm surprised. Agenda item number 12 is time set aside for the board to request any items for discussion in the future. Does any board member have any requests or anything to share? Son? You good? Good? Dave?
Just tomorrow night, the saltwater parade and the community festival.
Agenda item number 13 is to convene an executive session as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, concerning any and all purposes permitted by the Act, Section 551.074, discussion regarding superintendent hiring and contract, 551.074, and 551.082, consideration of final action to terminate the employment contract of a school nurse. Sections 551.071 and 1.29, possible consultation with legal counsel if necessary. The time is now 8:24 and we'll convene in executive session. Let the record reflect the time is now 8:42. The board is reconvened in open session to act on any items requiring action from closed session. We have two items tonight. The first one was the employment contract of a school nurse. Do I have a motion to terminate the employment contract of Ms. Mildred Haskin effective immediately? Motion is also, we further authorize administration to provide Ms. Haskin with notice of the board's action.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Molinak and a second by Mr. Richter. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our second action has been business that we've been working to resolve for several months now on our superintendent. It's been a long process. I'm glad to see tonight here. And I want to thank the board for their patience as we went through all our meetings. And I want to thank Ms. Cook for her patience with us. And I'm excited to get started on our next chapter. Do I have a motion to approve an employment contract with Karen Cook to serve Aransas Pass ISD as superintendent of schools?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Mullen. I got a second. Second by Mr. Rector. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're excited to work with you, and we're excited to see all the great things that we can do together as a team. Everybody in this room knows that it's not about individuals, it's about a team concept working collaboratively to the benefit of our students. I can tell you guys in visiting with Ms. Cook when she got here that she spoke very highly of every one of you. There's been other times in the past where I've served and that hasn't always been the case, but we feel like we've got a great team and we've got a lot of opportunity to do some great things here. We've gone through a lot the last 18 months together, so we look forward to the future and want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time with your family and come back refreshed and roll up your sleeves and let's get to work like we always do. Would you like to say something, Ms. Cook?
No, I'm just excited to be here, and you're exactly right. This is the best team in Texas, and we're going to show them how we're going to rock and roll around here. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. It's been a pleasure to be here for this 4 months, and I look forward to serving here as long as God's willing and you're willing to let me stay. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The board have anything else to say? Okay. Time is now 8:45. Is there being no further business before the board? This meeting's adjourned.
I'd like to thank Ms. Savage.
I never.